Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever had a big idea, a dream, so exciting that you couldn't wait to tell someone? And the moment you did, suddenly doubt creeped in. Someone hit you with a, that's not going to work. Or are you sure you can do that? And just like that, the fire inside you started to dim. See, the problem isn't your dream, it's who you're telling it to. Not everyone claps when you win. Some people pretend to be happy for you, but deep down they're hoping you fail. Others don't even mean to be negative, but their own fears and doubts spill onto you, making you second guess yourself. This is why you have to keep your plans to yourself. Move in silence. Let your results do the talking. In this speech, I'm going to tell you why keeping quiet about your goals isn't just a strategy, it's a necessity. If you've ever felt like people's words drain your motivation, or if you shared a plan only to feel discouraged afterward, then you need to hear this. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand why silence is one of the most powerful tools you've got. When you have a dream or a big goal, it's natural to want to share it with the people around you. You might think that your friends, family, or co-workers will be excited for you, that they'll support you, encourage you, and push you forward. But the truth is, not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some people will celebrate you, sure, but others, they'll silently hope you fail. And some won't be so silent about it. There are people in your life right now who don't want you to go any further than they have. Your ambition makes them uncomfortable because it reminds them of everything they didn't do. Maybe they had dreams once, but they gave up. And when they see you chasing yours, it stirs something inside them. Instead of being happy for you, they try to bring you down, even if they don't do it openly. Think about it. Have you ever told someone your big idea, and instead of excitement, they hit you with doubt? That's going to be really hard. Are you sure you can do that? Most people fail at that. And suddenly, all that energy, all that fire you had, it starts to fade. Not because your dream changed, but because someone planted a seed of doubt in your mind. Some people will discourage you out of jealousy. They don't want to see you win because they see your success as their failure. If you start to rise, they feel like they're falling. These people will never say it directly, but they'll disguise their jealousy as concern. They'll tell you to be careful. They'll tell you to think realistically. They'll remind you of all the ways things could go wrong. But here's the thing. You don't need their permission to chase your dreams. Then there are those who discourage you because they're afraid. Not for you, but for themselves. They project their own fears onto you. Maybe they tried something big once and failed, so now they believe it's impossible. They think they're protecting you by warning you, but all they're really doing is passing their fear onto you. And if you let them, they'll hold you back from what's meant for you. Sometimes the people who doubt you the most are the ones closest to you. It might be your best friend, your sibling, or even your parents. And that can be the hardest part because you expect strangers to doubt you, but when it's someone you love, it cuts deep. But you have to understand, their doubts are not about you. They're about them. They're about their own limitations, their own regrets, their own experiences. And you cannot let their mindset shape your future. So what do? You keep your plans to yourself. You don't need to announce every move you make. You don't need validation from others to go after what's in your heart. If you have a dream, protect it, guard it like it's something precious, because it is. The more people you tell, the more opinions you invite. And opinions can be dangerous when you're in the early stages of building something. Work in silence. Let your success be the proof. If you're starting a business, don't tell everyone, just build it. If you're working on a new skill, keep it to yourself until you've mastered it. If you have a big goal, focus on it privately. Not because you're hiding, but because you're protecting your vision from the negativity, doubt, and jealousy of others. And when you finally achieve what you set out to do, the same people who doubted you will be the first ones to act like they always believed in you. They'll say they knew you could do it. They'll act like they were in your corner all along. But you'll know the truth. Your success doesn't need an audience while you're building it. Keep your head down, stay focused, and let your results do the talking. Because at the end of the day, the only approval you need is your own. When you share your plans too soon, you open the door to negativity, doubt, and unnecessary distractions. People will have opinions, whether you ask for them or not. Some will try to discourage you, not out of malice, but because they can't see what you see. They haven't been given your vision, so they can't understand your passion. And when they don't understand something, they fear it. Picture this. You come up with a brilliant idea for a business, a creative project, or a new career path. You're excited, motivated, and ready to take action. Then you decide to tell a few people about it. Maybe it's your friend, your sibling, or even a mentor you look up to. But instead of cheering you on, they hit you with doubt. That's going to be tough. You sure that's the right move? I don't know if that's going to work. They don't realize it, but their words plant a seed of uncertainty in your mind, and suddenly what once felt like a solid plan now feels shaky. Negativity is powerful. Even when you're confident, even when you believe in yourself, constant exposure to doubt can start to wear you down. You might begin second-guessing yourself. You might hesitate where you were once sure. You might even start talking yourself out of the very thing you were excited about. Not because it's a bad idea, but because someone else couldn't see the potential in it. The truth is, most people don't think big. They live their lives in the safe zone, avoiding risks, playing it small. So when you come along with a bold vision, their first reaction isn't excitement, it's skepticism. And if you're not careful, that skepticism will seep into your mindset. It's not just negativity you have to worry about, it's also unnecessary distractions. When you share your plans, you invite input from people who have no business advising you. Everybody suddenly has an opinion on what you should do, how you should do it, and whether or not it's even worth trying. The more voices you listen to, the harder it is to hear your own. Instead of staying focused on your vision, you get caught up in other people's perspectives. Before you know it, you're tweaking your goals, adjusting your timeline, or even reconsidering your whole plan based on input from people who aren't even on the same journey as you. And let's talk about the distractions that come from just announcing your plans. When you tell everyone what you're working on, you might get an initial rush of validation. People might say, wow, that sounds amazing, or that's a great idea. And for a moment, it feels good. But that moment fades. The validation doesn't last. And sometimes just talking about your goal gives you a false sense of accomplishment, like you've already done something, when in reality, you haven't even started. Real progress happens in action, not in conversation. While you're busy explaining your plans, someone else is out there executing theirs. While you're debating your next move with a dozen different opinions, someone else is moving in silence, putting in the work, and making things happen. If you want to win, you have to protect your vision. You have to be selective about who you share your plans with. If you need guidance, seek out mentors who have walked the path before you. If you need encouragement, surround yourself with people who uplift you, not those who make you doubt yourself. But even then, keep the details of your plans close to your chest. Let your results speak for you. Work in silence, stay focused, and shut out the noise. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't come from talking, it comes from doing. And when you finally accomplish what you set out to do, the same people who doubted you will be the ones asking, how did you do it? Not everyone is rooting for you. It's a hard truth to swallow, but the sooner you accept it, the better off you'll be. We like to believe that the people around us, our friends, family, co-workers, want to see us succeed. And in some cases they do, but in many cases there are people watching, not because they're excited for you, but because they're waiting for you to fail. They won't say it out loud, but deep down, they don't want you to do better than them. Envy is real. It exists in places you least expect it. Sometimes the people you think are cheering you on are actually hoping you don't make it too far. They don't mind you doing okay as long as you don't surpass them. They don't mind you succeeding as long as it's not more than they have. And if they sense that you're about to break through, they'll do whatever they can to plant seeds of doubt, slow you down, or make you second guess yourself. Have you ever noticed how some people act differently when you start to level up? Maybe you tell a friend about a big opportunity you're going after, and instead of being excited, they hit you with a passive-aggressive comment. That's cool, but do you really think you're ready for that? Or maybe you mention a new goal and suddenly they remind you of every single reason why it's too risky, too hard, or too unlikely. They pretend they're just looking out for you, but the truth is, they're scared of what your success might mean for them. Some people only like you when you're on their level. They're comfortable with the version of you they've always known. The moment you start to grow beyond that, they feel threatened. It's not that they hate you, it's that your ambition makes them uncomfortable with their own lack of progress. Your drive reminds them of what they're not doing. Your courage makes them confront their own fear. And instead of dealing with that within themselves, it's easier for them to try to pull you back down. That's why you have to move in silence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're working hard, why you're dreaming big, or why you're choosing a different path. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. When you keep your plans to yourself, you eliminate the chance for negativity to creep in. You protect your energy, you guard your motivation, and you stay focused on what really matters, making your vision a reality. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone off. It doesn't mean you should isolate yourself, but it does mean you should be selective. Not everyone deserves access to your dreams. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Pay attention to who claps when you win and who suddenly goes quiet. Pay attention to who encourages you and who always finds a way to plant doubt. Pay attention to who genuinely supports you and who only pretends to. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting support from the wrong places. They assume that just because someone is close to them, that person will automatically want the best for them. But family, friends, and even longtime colleagues can still feel jealousy. They can still project their own fears onto you. And if you're not careful, their energy can affect how you see yourself. That's why silence is powerful. When you don't tell people what you're doing, they can't interfere, they can't sabotage what they don't know about, they can't discourage what they haven't heard, and by the time they see your success, it's too late for them to stop you. Let your results be the announcement. Let your hard work do the talking. Let your achievements be the moment when people realize just how serious you were. Because when you finally make it, when you finally reach that goal, when you finally prove yourself right, those same people who doubted you will be the ones asking, how did you do it? And the best part, you won't have to say a word. They'll see it for themselves. Not everyone who listens to your dreams wants to see them come true. That's a hard truth, but it's something you have to understand if you really want to succeed. People will smile to your face, act supportive, and nod along when you share your plans. But deep down, some of them are hoping you don't make it. It's not always because they dislike you. Sometimes your success forces them to confront their own failures, their own lack of ambition, and their own insecurities. And instead of dealing with that, they'd rather see you stay right where you are. When you share your plans too early, you give people the chance to plant doubt in your mind. Maybe you tell a friend about a big business idea, and instead of encouragement, they start questioning you. Are you sure that's going to work? What if you fail? What if you lose all your money? These questions might seem harmless at first, but over time they start to eat away at your confidence. You start wondering if they might be right. You start second guessing yourself. You start playing it safe, shrinking your dreams to fit into their idea of what's possible. It's not just friends. Family can do it too. Sometimes the people closest to you, the ones you think should support you the most, are the ones who hold you back. You tell them you're thinking about making a career change, and they hit you with, "You sure you want to do that? You got a stable job." Or you share that you want to start a business, and they immediately list all the people they know who tried and failed. They might think they're protecting you from disappointment, but what they're really doing is keeping you stuck in fear. The problem with telling people your plans too early is that it opens the door for negativity, and negativity is contagious. You might be 100% confident when you first come up with an idea, but all it takes is one doubtful comment, one negative reaction, one dismissive response, and suddenly you're not so sure anymore. Your excitement fades, your belief wavers, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of something that could have changed your life. People can't tear down what they don't know about. That's why moving in silence is so powerful. When you keep your plans to yourself, you protect your dreams from outside influence. You don't have to worry about people projecting their fears onto you. You don't have to deal with their doubts, their criticism, or their jealousy. You can focus completely on the work, on the process, on making things happen without unnecessary distraction. There's another reason to stay quiet about your plans. People love to steal ideas. You might think someone is just listening and nodding along, but the next thing you know, they've taken your idea and run with it. They might not have had the vision before, but once you put it in their mind, they start seeing the possibilities. And if they have the resources or connections to move faster than you, they'll do it. It happens all the time. Great ideas get stolen because people talk too much. You don't have to announce every step you're taking. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Work in silence. Make progress without letting people know. Build quietly, move smart, and let your success be the proof. When you finally achieve what you set out to do, people won't be able to deny it. And by then, it won't matter what they think, because you'll already have won. At the end of the day, your dreams belong to you. Not everyone needs to know what you're working on. Not everyone deserves access to your vision. Protect your energy. Guard your focus. Keep your plans private, and when the time is right, let your results do the talking. When you keep your plans to yourself, you give yourself the space to focus on your own growth without outside interference. Too often, people make the mistake of announcing what they're going to do before they've even started. They tell everyone their big goals, their dreams, and their plans, hoping for encouragement, but what they get instead is doubt, criticism, and sometimes even jealousy. The truth is, when you tell people what you're about to do, you invite their opinions, and not all opinions are helpful. Some people will try to discourage you, not because they care about you, but because they don't want to see you succeed. Keeping your plans private allows you to work without unnecessary distractions. When you're constantly explaining yourself to others, you waste energy that could be used on taking action. Every time someone questions your plan, you feel the need to justify it. Every time someone expresses doubt, you start second-guessing yourself. And before you know it, you've spent more time talking about your dreams than actually working on them. That's why silence is powerful. When you move in silence, you don't have to deal with negativity. You don't have to convince anyone. And you don't have to seek approval, you just do the work. Another reason to stay quiet is that people change when they see you leveling up. The moment you start working towards something bigger, you'll notice how some people around you react. Some will support you, but others will feel threatened. They'll act like they're happy for you, but deep down, they're hoping you don't make it. Because if you do, it forces them to face their own lack of ambition. And instead of using your success as motivation, they'd rather see you stay at their level. That's why you don't need to announce what you're doing. Let them be surprised when they see the results. One of the biggest mistakes people make is speaking on their plans before they've built a strong foundation. When you talk about something too soon, you put unnecessary pressure on yourself. You start feeling like you have to prove something to the people who are watching. And if things don't go as planned, you feel like a failure, not because you actually failed. That's why it's better to work quietly, give yourself the freedom to make mistakes, to adjust your approach, and to learn without feeling like the whole world is watching. When you move in silence, you also avoid unnecessary competition. The moment you tell people your goals, you give them insight into your strategy. Some people will take your ideas and run with them, especially if they have more resources or connections. There are plenty of stories of people who shared their business ideas only for someone else to execute them faster. Keeping your plans private protects you from that. It allows you to develop your ideas fully before anyone else has the chance to interfere. Your energy is valuable. Every time you explain yourself, every time you seek validation, and every time you let someone's doubt get into your head, you're using energy that could be directed toward your success. Instead of wasting time trying to convince people, spend that time taking action. Instead of announcing what you're going to do, just do it. Let your progress speak for itself. When you finally achieve what you set out to do, people will see it. And by then, it won't matter what they think, because you'll already be winning. Success doesn't require an audience. You don't need people to clap for you at every step. You don't need their validation. The only thing that matters is that you stay focused, stay consistent, and keep working until you make it. And when the time is right, your results will speak louder than any words ever could. Move in silence and let success make the noise. When you keep your plans to yourself, you maintain complete control over your journey. Too often, people feel the need to announce what they're doing, seeking approval, validation, or even excitement from those around them. But the truth is, the more people you tell, the more influence you allow them to have over your life. And not all influence is positive. Some people will pretend to be supportive while secretly doubting you. Others will offer unsolicited advice, making you second-guess yourself. And some will outright discourage you because they can't imagine achieving what you're trying to do. That's why moving in silence is so powerful. It keeps you in control. When you talk too much about your plans, you give people the opportunity to plant doubt in your mind. Even if you're confident in yourself, even if you believe in your vision, constant outside opinions can weaken that belief. You might start thinking, maybe they're right, maybe this won't work, maybe I should wait. And before you know it, you slow down, hesitated, or even give it up completely, not because your idea was bad, but because someone else's doubt got into your head. Keeping your plans private protects your confidence. When you don't allow other people's fears to influence you, you stay focused and move forward without unnecessary hesitation. Another major reason to keep quiet is that people can't interfere with what they don't know about. Sometimes when you share your plans, you attract unnecessary resistance. You might not even realize it, but there are people who don't want to see you succeed. They might not say it directly, but their actions will show it. They'll throw distractions your way. They'll discourage you with realistic advice. They'll remind you of past failures. And if they have the opportunity, they might even try to sabotage your progress. By keeping things to yourself, you remove that possibility. No one can block what they can see coming. Silence also gives you time to build a strong foundation. When you announce something too early, you create expectations. People start watching, waiting to see what happens. And if you run into obstacles, if things don't go as planned, you'll feel pressure to explain yourself. You'll feel like you have to prove something. But when you keep things to yourself, you give yourself the space to grow without that pressure. You can experiment, make mistakes, and adjust your approach without worrying about what anyone thinks. This freedom allows you to focus on real progress instead of just keeping up appearances. Another important reason to stay quiet is that actions speak louder than words. People get excited about talking about their plans, but excitement doesn't equal progress. Some people talk about what they're going to do for years and never actually do it. They keep saying, I'm about to start this business, or I'm going to change my life, but nothing changes. Why? Because talking about it tricks the brain into feeling like progress has already been made. But real progress only happens when you take action. And when you're too busy talking, you're not doing. That's why the most successful people let their success do the talking. They don't announce their every move, they just make moves. Keeping things private also helps you avoid unnecessary competition. The moment you tell people your goals, you give them insight into your next steps. Some people will take that information and try to beat you to it. They'll use your ideas, your strategies, and your vision to get ahead. This happens more often than you think. Some of the most successful people in the world lost valuable opportunities because they shared their plans with the wrong person. Protecting your ideas, your goals, and your dreams allows you to fully develop them without interference. Once you've built something strong, once you've achieved real results, then, and only then, should you share it. At the end of the day, success doesn't need an audience. The journey to achieving something great is often lonely. You don't need approval. You don't need validation. You don't need people to cheer for you every step of the way. What you need is discipline, consistency, and focus. The right people will celebrate you when the time comes. The wrong people don't need to know what you're up to anyway. So move in silence, protect your vision, and let your results be the proof. When you succeed, the whole world will see it, but by then, you won't need their validation because you'll already know what you're capable of.